research. Whenever anybody says to me they're doing research, my first response is, with what kind of verbs, which verbs can you use instead of doing research? You read, you look, you walk. So in this way, it's actually the first step is getting beyond this kind of big word that is written about many artistic practices. And a lot of people seem to have no problem to submit their own practice in their own life on that. Yeah. So then we need to divide or define the time before artistic practice got involved with academics, and not as a study object, but as a perspective for artistic practice to advance to a level of PhD worthy practice, questionable and open. It has this field has become a whole industry that has left since many years the core question, actually, what does research mean in terms in relationship to an artistic practice? But that's a different chapter. Just, I think, two examples where I would agree for my own practice, research, the term of research can be helpful. This is now where anecdotes come in. 2017, that was the year where Reformation was celebrated, 500 years of Reformation. And already in autumn, German or Bavarian radio programs had started looking back at Luther and the history of it. And that made me look a little bit back on my own religious education, and found kind of like traces that respond and I could still relate. So I then started going back, I think for the whole year of 2017, to the Swedish church in Rotterdam. So that's a Sephardic church that had lost its kind of like original function to serve the kind of the people on the boats, and had now become a kind of expat community service. So I went there. At some days I've been only the only member or representing the congregation. The priest, his wife, who played also the organ, and me celebrated the Sunday Mass. So at no point I actually thought about that would be somehow kind of research of my practice. But besides that, now looking back, and also the description I said was celebrating the 500 years of Reformation. Celebrating means also kind of like diving into something, getting a grip on, or listening also to the Bible readings, participating in the singing to a certain low level, being part of a kind of a congregation. To participate in the program. Then the post-mass, you would have a kind of a coffee, you would sit there, you would meet people. And there is also an enormous part of, I wouldn't have done that to the German congregation. So there was also kind of satisfactory point why to visit the Swedish church that's where I'd lived before. So I think that's the question, how you then aesthetically can frame something, even nothing comes out of it. But one thing came out of it. Previous, I think that was probably in spring 2016, for whatever reason, with Tor, one of our Swedish students, I had went to the garden day of the church. That was actually the connecting moment. And what we did is kind of like pulling out the young acer seedlings from the grass. They have a very, very beautiful garden. It's sold now, the garden and the church doesn't exist, or in a kind of a very rudimentary form. So that's where we were there. We got lunch there. And so that was the starting point. But what we took us with from that kind of day was the old flagpole. And that flagpole kind of like followed both of us through the next 1.5 years. I think the first thing, we carried it over. It was already cut in parts. We used it for the graduation ceremony to put a kind of a self-painted flag on. And then we brought it to the wood workshop and we kind of like grinded it down. They became then candle holders. And with these candle holders in 2017, there was a kind of a market day where at the church where kind of 5, 6, 7 people tried to sell their stuff. And we had a kind of a stand with this kind of, 10 or 12 of these kind of candle holders. So that was a bizarre scenario. So in that way, if something appears on the CV, that's that kind of like table. We called it the Flaggstångsgruppen, as a flagpole responsible person. So I think that's where the project and what you could call the research, visiting, celebrating, researching 500 years of celebration, actually totally fall apart, but they come together in the place where it happens. So I think that is something where I think when research is actually just a kind of a reason to engage and to learn about certain kind of conditions, relations, and at no point it actually needs a kind of a direct outcome, a direct line for what you're doing thing. I would say that's a celebratory moment where research has its kind of reason, has its kind of coherence, but the project, the object, the artwork is kind of like non-related to the structure of research. That was now a long way, but I think it's worth to think that through in this way. What research definitely, I think, what should be strictly kind of distinct from is being an informed citizen. Yeah, to know about what's going on in the world, and not only about what's happening in the Contemporary Art Center and the kind of like microcosmos of the discourse that are provided at art schools. My best practical suggestion is read a newspaper, yeah, a proper newspaper once a week. In the best case, you read the newspaper from the other side of where you're sitting on, yeah, because if you just read the same newspaper you're anyway already agreeing in, then yeah, you end up in the same kind of like territory. You don't have to read the opinion articles, but the journalism, very good journalism is actually kind of like beyond that kind of like pure opinion making. So I'm back now on my material research. I hope you have a good day and finding out what verb you want to do today.